I just imagine Diamond like shoving his paw in your mouth, like play with me. That's what it sounded like. You're like, Like,
Hi everybody, welcome to Paragade Oops All Anime, where we talk about anime that we are rewatching in the year of our Lord 2019. I'm your host, Joe, and of course I'm joined here with Bran. Hi Bran, how's it going?
it's going good, Joe. How's it going with you?
It's going. We got some Death Note, we don't have 6 episodes this time, so you know what that means? We get to do a check-in. It's great.
Yay! Yeah, no, we don't have to do like a 4-hour episode of Death Note. I think we finished it in 2 hours last time, didn't we?
We did finish it in 2 hours. The actual recording came out to about 3 with the Code Geass segment.
Code gay ass.
Code Gay Ass. It's great.
I love it.
What are you drinking today, Brand?
A big old cup of water. It's the best.
See, we're so healthy. I'm so happy with my water.
Keep hydrated. I am drinking Victory's Sour Monkey Sour Brett Triple.
Wow, 2 sours in the name. That's pretty sour.
Yeah, so Sour Monkey is 9.5% alcohol. It's
it's not bad.
It's not bad. It tastes really good. I have just gotten way more into sours because I am a baby who cannot drink IPAs anymore.
They're disgusting.
You know, they're not usually disgusting, but
I hate them.
you know, that's fair. It depends. I can't have them with food anymore. I can definitely have a sour with food. That's great.
Yeah, they're so like fizzy.
Yeah.
They're just so. It feels like if it were a soda, it'd be like y'all ran out of syrup, and this is just a fully carbonated beverage with like the hint of flavor of whatever they tell you's in it. And I'm just like, give me the stouts.
Give me the stouts.
Breakfast oatmeal beer. I don't want like pumpkin orange IPA in the fall. I'm just like, no.
You don't want pumpkin? Okay.
Sours are a good middle ground though.
Yeah.
Our friend Sky had me try one. It was like a watermelon sour, and to this day I have not forgotten about that. I had it one time, and I was like, ooh. It was good.
Yeah. The other one that I really like right now is one from Wicked Weed called Leche Burst. It is it's good. It's basically the best version of alcoholic lemonade.
Oh, okay.
And that
I heard the word leche, and I was like, isn't that milk in Spanish?
No. Like
Leche, what is
the lychee fruit.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, milk burst? Like that
Milk
sounds...
burst.
I was like, oh boy.
It's an explosion of a cow's udder in your mouth.
That's
great.
exactly the imagery. I like straight to like Kung Pao Enter the Fist, like a cow being like, here's my fucking beer. And I was like, oh boy.
Oh boy.
Lemonade sounds a lot more appetizing.
Yeah. I imagine people will fight me on that. I'm like, no, this is how I attribute it to, because I feel like the Joe like standard is that if I'm like, it tastes like lemonade, that means it's just like, oh, this is a good thing to just sip on a nice hot day, or if it's not a nice hot day, it's a nice cold day, and you're all cuddled up in your blankets with your Switch and just having a big old glass of country time lemonade. It's good.
Hell yeah. I love drinks like that just get you in any mood. There's like a variety of moods that you're just like, wow, these fit so well, and I'm just gonna have a nice time and sippy sip my day away.
Sippy sip. Which I still love that was the intro to our last episode. Just the sippy sip, the hot topic.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh.
So what have you been up to outside of Death Note here?
I've been watching a lot of Game Grumps because work is very it's starting to pick back up again, so I'm getting very exhausted, and Game Grumps keeps me going through the day. So I have devoured Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time. They have not finished Twilight Princess, so I just kind of like finished all of those episodes. I finished the Skyward Sword playthrough, which is like probably my favorite playthrough because Aaron is so salty and it's so funny. It is hilarious. And yeah, and then I kind of picked up Red Dead 2 again, and that's been fun. Surprisingly, I was like, a while ago, I was like, oh, I just have trouble picking it up, but I just come off of playing Breath of the Wild, and I was like, I want to go fast. And so I just picked up Arthur, and he was just like, oh, cowboy. And I'm like, I can't move. You're so big and heavy. And so and then I was like, I just want to take a nice stroll around the block, and some guy jumps out, and he's like, give me your money. And I'm like, I hate this. And I turned it off. I was like, this is like the freaking Yiga clan on steroids, just like jumping into that open world game. Everyone is going to kill and rob you. And then I thought I'd try the online, which is just 12 times as worse. So I put it down for a long time. We'll just say that. And then I picked it back up recently and was like, I'm gonna find some horses, and I got some horses, and yeah, it's just going good. I'm back in the zone with it. So
would you say that you got some horses in the back?
yes, I would. I got the little like stable thing where you can have it at your camp, but just switch out the horses whenever. So like that's exactly what went through my mind. I was like, got the horses in the back, and I'm gonna take them to the Old Town Road.
You gotta take it to the Old Town Road.
Like no more.
You know, oh god, I'm glad. So on my end, I have been. Well, I'll talk about this in our second, or actually no, not our second half because I haven't recorded the Code Geass section yet. Time sucks. So, God, Gundam. So the Gundam mobile game, the Gundam Battle Gunpla Warfare. It has been good. Except for the fact that the server has crashed like 3 times because apparently Bandai Namco was like, oh, nobody's gonna really play this game, and then 1 million players logged on at one day, and they're like, what the fuck just happened?
They're like, oh, we overestimated our abilities here.
No, they underestimated how popular Gundam was going to be, apparently.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, the server crashed like 3 separate times for about like 2 days, which was great. And I could imagine their poor contact center just like lighting up on fire.
Just a bunch of Joes, like, just
give me
calling into it, Gundam. They're like, oh god, please. Give me that Gundam.
But it was good because afterwards they offered like a bunch of apology awards. So it's like, oh, here's like the premium currency you can use to play the gacha game. I'm like, cool. I use it. I get all comments, and I'm like, yeah, that works out real well. Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. So yeah, it's been good. I've gotten a lot of the rare pulls. I've gotten a Char Aznable. I've gotten a Gundam Exia parts, and yeah, my Gundam looks the way that the closest that I can have it look to something that I would actually make.
Yeah.
And
I love like you have the customizations, and you're like, oh, this isn't what I want. But, like, it's close, and it'll have to do.
It'll have to do for now until they go ahead and put out the Sananju Stein, and then once they do that, it's all over for me, because I'm just going to dump, like, $100 into the gacha game and be like, get me the plastic arm! Get me the plastic arm! Oh, God. It'll be...
Give me the limb! Give me the limb!
Because... that's the shitty thing about it, right? Is that it doesn't do the thing where you can buy a kit outright. You have to play the gacha game and maybe get that part you need, or just get no parts at all and just get like a Zaku arm for like the 80th time, and you're just like, God damn it.
I know, like, I don't play a lot of games where you get like a randomized sort of thing. I don't like playing those kinds of gambles. Just because I'm impatient and I want my things that I want. So when they, like, I can't remember if I've ever actually played a game where they're like, ooh, put this down and you'll get like a random item, that I've ever been like, oh, I'm going to take a chance on that. I think, don't they do it in Animal Crossing sometimes?
They do it in the mobile version.
Okay, that must be what someone was talking to me about the other day, because they were like, I should take a bet on this and get this cool, I think it was Story, and she was like, I want to get this cool pastel wig. Should I take the chance? I'm like, yeah, I don't understand how statistics work. I just didn't get it, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Don't trust my brain.
Don't trust it. I got lucky with the Char Aznable because that was like the event like NPC that you could get, because they were like, oh yeah, get your favorite red boy, Char Aznable, and I'm like, well, I got to drop $20 on this.
I gotta try it.
And I did, and I got him, but mobile games, like, I feel like anytime you just go into like a mobile game, there's always that stipulation that it's a mobile game. So
Yeah.
you're just gonna have to kind of like have a certain tolerance for like the gotcha bullshit, basically.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's perfectly fine if you don't, and in that case, this game's not for you. But for people like me, who it's like I get no Gundam games in the States, and I don't own a PS4, this is all I got.
This is
So
all I have.
normally, I don't play a gacha game. Right now, I have nothing until like we go ahead and set up the Get Joe a PS4 fund for his birthday. So that way I can play Death Stranding because that's coming out soon. Uh,
That's right. Yeah, isn't that coming out in like August, like this month?
no, November.
Or is it November? Oh, okay. I don't know why I always get August, November like swapped up in my head.
No, I think I would have had a panic attack if it was coming out this month.
Yeah, I could just see you being like, no, 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 it's November, and I look it over like, oh, actually, I just checked, it's in August. You're like, okay, we're gonna pick this podcast up later. You just end the call.
And the call,
Gotta go.
go to Target, just like, get me a PS4, please. And they're just like, we're all out, and I grab him by the collar, like, you gotta get more. I need
Give
it.
me the limb, like. I need the PS4. Wait, so it's not coming out on any other system, is it?
So, breaking news, except not breaking news. It's about 2 days old now. Apparently on the Death Stranding website, it was a PS4 exclusive until a few days ago on the website, but no official announcement has been made yet. So,
Oh.
Gamescom is happening this week. So Hideo Kojima is going to be having like a panel there. I'm very much assuming that it's going to be an announcement of like a PC port of Death Stranding, or if Hideo's as much of a wild card that I believe him to be, he's going to be like, we have brought it to the most innovative platform to exist in our time. Thing that brings art to everyone and everywhere. We're bringing it to Switch. In which case, that's it. In which case, yeah, that is the part where Joe just, like, my soul would escape my body. I would
Just-
be one with, I'd be one with the universal consciousness. I would just be lifted up to some sort of echelon of a higher state of being that this had happened, and everybody would have been like, the port's gonna be bad. I'm like, I know it's gonna be bad, but I get to see Norman Reedus and the funky fetus on the Goetus, so
On the go eat it. Stop.
so
I'm just gonna draw you like as a little gremlin shimmying towards someone and being like chanting Norman Reedus and the funky fetus on the go eat it. And I'm gonna scream. That is the most Joe thing.
Oh god. So I don't know. Money's on it being a PC port. I want the wild card to happen. I want it to be a Switch port. I want it to be a really bad Switch port too, because I feel like it wouldn't be appropriate otherwise. So that's what I want, and hopefully we'll see that happen.
I hope so too. Because the Switch is, I think, just a great platform, and we should just keep putting more games on it forever. And it's great. I hope they put more like mainstream stuff on the Switch too. Like not like they have so many great indie games on the Switch that are just like, or just like little games that aren't super huge and you really wouldn't see them like on bigger consoles and
Yeah.
stuff. But like, and I'm not talking like Assassin's Creed or whatever, because like I think they did that with the Wii U, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, stop. But like the fact that they ported something like Dark Souls over, I think is really cool but
Yeah.
dangerous, because the Switch is really breakable and that game is really frustrating. I kind of worried about it. I was like, ooh,
Ooh.
I don't know anybody that's gotten this on the. Did you get on the Switch?
I did.
Oh boy, do you? I mean, is your Switch okay? Because I just get
Well, I
so
had to send
worried.
in one of the
Like,
Joy-Cons to get repaired. So
is that like the? Was that like an issue when you got? Because I thought I heard a lot of the Switch were having that issue where they just are like drifting constantly to the
Yeah.
left.
So, the two red Joy-Cons I've had, like, since day one, the left one was the first one to give out. I had to pay for that repair,
Oof.
which sucked. But now a couple years later, a lot more people were getting that issue, and they were like, hey, there's a lot more than us than we thought. This isn't just normal wear and tear. This is just a defect. we're gonna launch a class action lawsuit against Nintendo. And before they could even go ahead and file the paperwork, Nintendo was like, never mind, send them in for free. We'll repair them. We'll bite the bullet on this one.
Oh man, yikes.
So yeah, I sent mine in for a free repair because it was doing the drifting finally.
Drifting.
But because the red one that I had, I eventually modded to be a white one, and since it's the left one, it wasn't as much of a pain in the ass as the right one is to just take it apart and replace the joystick.
I remember that fiasco way back in the day. You were like, I'm gonna turn my Joy-Con into a different thing, and didn't like 3 things go wrong with it?
Oh yeah, that was the right.
Yeah.
That was the right gray one that I had, and that though that was a fucking nightmare. I never want to do that again. Then 2 years later, I was like, I could maybe try with the left one, and I did, and that one was less of a nightmare. And then the joystick finally started to give out, and I couldn't send it to Nintendo because I opened it up. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
so I was like, all right, I guess I gotta replace the joystick, and that went well. That went over pretty well. And then when the right one started to give out, I was like, I'm not doing this again. I'm sending this to Nintendo. Bye. Like,
Oh man, I know. I remember you like stopping by my desk and just being like, I fucked it up even worse. And I was like, Joe, just stop. Stop messing with your Switch. And you're like, I want it a different color. I want my own colors. I'm like,
I
Joe.
want my own colors. It's like, this is how I do. You know me. God.
I must have the customization. We've come full circle. I want the red and the white.
And I do have the red and the white, except now it's gray and the white because I have to use the backup Joy-Cons that we have, so that way I can actually play it on the Golo. Anyway.
Well,
Aside from that, I finished Dragon Quest Builders 2, so that story's now... Yeah, I finished the story mode on that, and now I'm just building an island with my boyfriend Malroth. It's great.
no.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
I feel like we're kind of putting this off. I feel like we kind of want to talk
Yeah,
about this
I'll be
episode.
honest, like I'm more excited to you know me usually. I'm just like, okay, I love Death Note, let's get to Death Note. Okay, like cute check-in, yeah, whatever, like I'm playing Dream Daddy as always, but like we get to it and I'm like, okay, so let's talk about L, let's talk about Mel. This one I'm just like, okay, so like basically this I just want Light to die at this point. Like I'm so tired. Like I am in your position this time and I just I've had a long work week. I have very little patience. So, like, wasting one of my breaks watching, like, the worst 3 episodes of Death Note where, like, it's just like, I'm going to date Takeda. And I'm just like, who the fuck cares about Takeda? And then the only joy out of the whole thing is Misa. And I'm like, this is how you know the writers were like, we got to kill him soon because, like, this is stalling. Like, this is... we got to find a way to kill him. And I'm just like, just do it.
So... All right. I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about episodes 31 to 33 about Death Note. All right. So, episode 31 is called Transfer. So, we go ahead and start up right where we left off, where the SPK headquarters is getting attacked by basically a bunch of Gear supporters, and Light's just like, what you gonna do, Nier? How you gonna get yourself out of this one? And Nier's like, God, you fucking... I guess we gotta do the plan. And they're like, the plan? The plan. He's like, what's the plan? The plan. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and, like, go onto the floor, flip the switch. We'll worry about it later.
Yeah, we'll use L's legacy. And I'm like, I thought you were L's legacy. And then he's like, oh, I'm about to make it rain.
I'm about to make it rain. Meanwhile, Mello is watching this from like an airport, and I just wanted to point this out because again, I love anime not being able to use like any real brands, and Southwest being called South Wing, and I'm just like, cool.
Love it.
So after that, he is just like, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this done, and don't tell me what to do, Kira. Like, listen, I'm not gonna go ahead and take orders from Kira. And Light is back at it again. He's just like, I'm not Kira.
What?
Stop
Are you
saying.
still on about that? I'm like, yes. Like, just give up on being. I hate him. I'm just.
So, yes. So Nier, goes ahead and from the top of his building launches off like fun cannons of money and basically just starts raining down the protesters as they are all just as broke as we are, and they're like,
Yeah.
fuck yes, get me the cash. And even like the fucking announcer's like, yeah, get me the cash, fly me over to
Yeah.
where the money's getting rained down, I need it.
Fucking Light's just like, are you kidding me? They're going for the money, and Misa's like, don't you know money can't buy happiness? And everyone in the crowd is just like, this is America. Like,
This is
they're
America.
literally in New York, and I'm like,
I need to
dumb.
pay rent. I need.
Yeah. My like, my 1-1 is like $6,000 a month. So yeah, I'm gonna be grabbing a few dollars. Sorry, Kira, you can't kill all of us.
Can't kill all of us. And Nier and the rest of his team are able to go ahead and get out along with the cops by hiding amongst the cops. And Light's just like looking at them like, I can't tell everybody to focus on the cops, otherwise that'll make me even more suspicious. And I can tell that Aizawa here is just waiting to pull the trigger on me.
He is. Yep.
So I'm just going to stare really intensely at the screen to see if I can see Nier. And spoilers, he fucking can't.
Nope, and neither can Misa. She's just like, like.
God. So, yeah, Matsuda is, like, just, like, destroyed as he's like, how much money do you think was there? Why weren't we there? I
We're
could
like,
have
Matsuda, focus.
paid off my student loans, man. This sucks.
They're like, Matsuda, shut up. You didn't go to college. And he's like, maybe I did. Like,
Maybe I did.
I have a degree in adopted son.
Uh,
Light's like, will you please?
God. So
I love Matsuda.
And Nier goes ahead and gives him a call. He's like, "Hey, bitch, I'm still here. We made out just fine." And Light's like, "Yeah, sure. What a relief."
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. And his teeth are just cracking in his skull because he's gritting his teeth so much.
Oh my god. And Nier's like, "All right, listen. That was way too convenient. All of a sudden, I started suspecting Light, and then all of a sudden, my fucking place gets raided. It almost is like that Light is fucking Kira. I know y'all are smart-ass cops. Just
Matsuda's like, are you sure about that? Like,
it's like,
the audience is like, no.
and he's like, just give me a call sometime, here's my number, so call me maybe."
Yeah, literally. I love how, like, the tone that he's constantly using with these people is like, it's really funny how, like, my place got raided right after I started to suspect Light. Pretty odd, don't you think? And the police are like, oh yeah, that is kind of odd. And he's like, here's my fucking number. Please end this.
Please.
All of them are like, I don't know. And Isaac's like, give me the number. Like, he's ready.
Oh my god.
The only common sense boy we have left.
The only one. And so, after that, he basically goes ahead and ends the call. And Light starts off with one of his other favorite lines of like, "So I've been thinking," and I think this is where I probably lost it. I had like this instinctual gut response of like, you know what I've been thinking? Like, you know what I've been thinking? I've been thinking that maybe you should shut up just for like 2 seconds. Just shut up. Oh my god. So
honestly, like, I am so with you on this, like, right now. Like, I love Light as a character, but like, he really, like, I love him as a character because, like, I know he loses, but
Yeah.
this part of his arc is so unbearable. He's so annoying, and like, it just gets old, and he's getting like cockier, and he's just like, I don't care, I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm like, okay, kill him. He's not interesting anymore. He's just such a, oh god, he's insufferable in this part of the show. Anyways, though, yeah, I wish he would also shut up. What does he say next? What is he even thinking about? Do we even care? Like,
he's basically saying like, you should totally go ahead and cooperate with Nier. It's like, I don't blame you if you were to. And Aizawa's like, Yeah, I was gonna go ahead and do that anyway, but you know,
Thanks for your permission, you little shit.
thanks for your permission, I guess. And we cut to Aizawa now, back at home, and he's uh sipping on some whiskey as he's thinking about the fact that, like, yeah, like all this shit is a little too convenient, huh? And he is just pondering it over, like, oh man, I'm gonna have to go ahead and betray, like, my, like, the police force that I've been working with. And
Mhm.
his daughter comes in, and they just have this nice little heart touching
Oh.
moment where she's just like, he's like, hey, aren't you up a little late? And she's like, nah, I'm just studying for my test. I got some flashcards here. And he's like, oh, fucking good on you, kid. All right, cool. Like,
Ugh.
but you should go to bed. And she's like, yeah. And he sees her off to bed, and he goes back and sips on more whiskey. And it's, uh,
It's such a
it's,
it's such a sweet moment. I'm just so it makes me happy that Aizawa does get to like spend a lot more time with his family now. Well, like maybe not as much time, but it's just good to see that that relationship got like repaired and that he's still close with his family.
it makes him so much more human. Um,
Yeah.
like, like Sergio was still like a cool character, but I feel like Aizawa like is a good sort of not even stand-in. He's as L's successor is like near Mello. Aizawa is like a very good successor to being Sergio because
Yeah, like Matsuda and Aizawa who we get in place of Sunichio cuz like he was also very human, but I mean he has like an undeniable just conflict of interest with like being his son, and Aizawa and Matsuda are just kind of like we know it was the chief's son, but like we have our own families to think about. Like he was my dad too. Those kind of dynamics come into play, and it's I appreciate it. Aizawa's he's probably my favorite task force member.
yeah,
He's just a good guy
he's just a good dude. He's a
and a
good
good dad.
He's a good dad. Like, and hopefully his daughter doesn't also turn out to be a fucking sociopath.
We can only hope.
We can only hope. That's the sequel to Death Note. Death Note 2, Electric Boogaloo. We go ahead and have Aizawa's daughter turn out to be light. Why not?
No, God, I would die.
I would also die, but
Just end this.
She's a girl, so therefore, the anime would not be able to
And
write
not
her.
be written.
Yeah.
Like,
So anyway, after that, Light is like, well, I guess I can't go ahead and do the whole Death Note thing anymore. Time to launch one of my scenarios. And I'm coming off of watching fucking Ava and listening to like Gendo Akari be like, oh, it's going. This is all according to the scenario. Oh, I planned for this. I did this, and I'm just like, I think I might have stumbled onto why I personally just don't like Light. He reminds me a lot of Gendo Akari in a lot of ways, and not in the good ways.
is that the really bad dad?
Yeah, the really bad dad.
The one that was like number 3 on Watch Mojo's list of terrible anime fathers?
Should be number one. Should honestly be number one.
Well, number 1 was the Full Metal Alchemist scientist that fused his daughter with her dog. So I feel like that's fair in some ways, but
You're telling me that, like, the man who launched, like, the literal end of the world because he wanted to see his dead wife, who honestly didn't even like him. Like, she's like, I'm alive and I'm in the Ava. Spoilers. Like, this is what I want. You've done everything that I didn't want. And you've murdered our boy. You've cloned me into a 14...
murdered our boy.
You've or emotionally murdered our boy, and you've gone ahead and cloned me into a 14-year-old girl that you sometimes molest. Like, listen, get fucked.
I feel like that would make him like just the worst villain in general, but like when it comes to like this was like a list of horrible fathers,
Yeah.
and I feel like in terms of what the dad does to their child, you're just like, oof. Like I just don't know if you can top.
I guess.
It's just I don't know. I've never seen Ava, but I have seen Full Metal Alchemist, so maybe it's just like I would need to see
I guess.
his shittiness up close.
Well, the whole thing is like he forces his son into the Ava, which is basically his mom, and he's piloting his mom. Yeah.
Oh, every time someone talks about this show, they're like, no, there are themes that you would enjoy, and then they're like, this guy clones his wife as a fort, and I'm just like, I think I'm good. Like, it just, you guys, everyone will tell me it's a classic to the end of my days, and I'll just be like, I assume that it is, but I just won't watch it.
That
Just can't do it.
that's fair. Like there is.
But I do trust that I trust you when you say he's a terrible father. He sounds like a disgusting person.
He's kind of the worst. Anyway, so
We got a little sidetracked there, but yeah.
Gendo Light
Back to good fathers.
Gendo Light Akari is just over here like, yeah, I got a scenario for this. Don't worry about it. And he sends an email to Misa, and we're gonna go ahead and start Death Note Hot Potato 3 Electric Boogaloo. As he's gonna go ahead and send his Death Note over to somebody else now, which also, like, Ryuka's just everywhere now? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
He's just wherever the Death Note is. He's just like, hey, what's up? I love at the beginning of this episode where they're like watching the money fall down or whatever, and Ryuk is just like feet together, legs apart, hands
Yep.
on his hip, floating in the air. Like he's like us at this point. He's just floating around, being like, wow, I can't believe that happened. Wow, when will this be over? Like,
When indeed? When indeed will this be over? As after that, Aizawa's like, hey, I went ahead and called Nier, and I'm like, oh man, anytime I see Aizawa and Light in the same room now, I'm getting really nervous. Like, I get real nervous now.
yeah, because like the look he gives Aizawa is like very unguarded and very like, ugh, I just don't like it. Like this is the problem, is like he's getting so much more comfortable with like he still is hiding it, but like, is he even really trying as hard as he's not, because he's more focused with just like becoming this. He just feels like he's already won because everyone's bowing down, and he's like, God, when will I be free to like reign over this world that's being created by me, but I'm still in the shadows. You can tell he's just getting pissed about it. So like this look he gives Aizawa is like that kind of tinge of like, he's not really hiding it, but he's like, that's fine, of course, I would understand that you got, but like in his eyes you can be, he's just like, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't touch him,
Don't touch him.
don't touch Aizawa.
Oh my god. Even Diamond's like, don't touch Aizawa. So So he's like, yeah, go ahead. And Aizawa's like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and bug your house and keep an eye on Misa and stuff. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Go ahead and do it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I am totally okay with this. And you're like, he's like, really? You are? And he's just like, mm-hmm.
Yep.
Do it.
He's like, at least this way you can't prove exactly what it is I'm about to do, which is go ahead and destroy evidence.
Which is Misa's mind.
Which is Misa's mind. And before this, she says, like, oh, this is all according to Light's plan, so that way I could be a normal, everyday woman, as a woman should be. And I'm just like,
Misa. I swear to God, Misa, please.
Misa.
It really freaks me out, though, like, that part where, like, it's basically revealed that, like, Light Yagami has ordered Misa to pass the notebook on to a convenient third character on Light's side of things.
Yeah.
Because why the fuck not? And, like, he's explaining what's happening, and he's like, you can search that apartment all you want, Mogi and Aizawa. You won't find anything. Blah, blah, blah. Misa's just a normal girl now. And it just, like, pans over her face, and she's just got this blank smile on.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, ugh, like, that unsettles me so much, because, like, she doesn't remember anything now. Like, she is. Like, I just didn't realize, I thought she was just going to be, oh, there's no evidence here, you can't find anything. But she can't even give anything away now, because she's just completely forgotten about it. And it just, I don't know, the face that she makes there is such a testament to, like, Light's complete control over people's lives, and it's just gross. It just makes me uncomfortable every time I see it.
Well, we were also talking about the bird last time, and the bird's just, like, going crazy here in the cage.
Yep. That's another thing. Yeah, it's in the background the whole time. She's just, and that's like really unsettling too, because like you feel that danger and that like unsettling kind of panic, and she's just blank faced, smiling,
Yeah.
staring forward. It's like, oh God, like And the bird, if you're taking this as a metaphor for like Misa being basically trapped under Light's control, then it's like we're all just like, let her out, and she's just like, this is all I ever wanted. I'm like, Misa,
let me out, let me out.
literally.
Oh my god. So, meanwhile, while this is going on, Matsuda, being his general Matsuda self, is like, I want to watch TV. Let's go ahead and watch Kira's Kingdom. As J. Jonah Jameson, Demigawa, is on there, and he's like, hey, guess what, buds? I'm making a mega church. Y'all want to go ahead and fund Joel Osteen's fucking, church to Kira? Like, here we go, buds. Sign up now, and you get a cool Kira lapel pin. As
we'll even throw in a lanyard.
And Light's like, really? Really? This is happening?
Yeah, he's getting pissed.
Well, he's gonna have to die soon, and conveniently, well, J. Jonah Jameson and his new, board of directors do start getting killed. Oh, I wonder who it could be. As we then cut to, I guess a member of BTS or something, just like, I don't know. He's real handsome, though. As he starts writing in the Death Note. And he just
we stand Mikami. I hate this. I'm sorry, go on.
As he goes, delete. And it's like, okay, at first, like, that's all he needed to say, really? Like, that was it. That's all he needed to say. But no, then he does, like, this Naruto fucking backflip as he writes in the Death Note.
Backflip.
And I'm just like,
parkour, delete. He's just jumping everywhere. Y'all thought Light was dramatic. You thought that was dramatic with a potato chip bag? Oh, no. We got, like Nargacuga eyes over here, just transporting everywhere.
It was so...
Marking up the page.
So he's marking up the page, killing, like, all the people on the Kira show. J. Jonah Jameson, clutches his chest and he says, get me pictures of Spider-Man.
Dies.
And dies. As we then cut back to the Japanese investigation quarters, as Aizawa's like, oh my god, like Light and Misa were nowhere near like writing this. And I'm like, y'all have already established that you can schedule like deaths ahead of time. They could have just done this. Like, that doesn't make them like any less of a suspect than they were like 10 minutes ago.
They literally are forgetting like so many rules of the Death Note. It just, oh god, it pisses me off.
It's almost like this wasn't written well.
It's almost like the task force can't do anything without L reminding them how things work.
You know?
Like, you guys, all you guys are good for is just like tattling to Nier. It just bothers me. Like, I'm glad y'all have good intentions, and I love that you have your little bickering moments. But as we'll see when we get to the next episode, the next 2 episodes, they're just stupid, and I get really mad about it because I'm like, oh my god. Like,
oh my god.
So, anyways, Hot Topic Vampire bitch is now here.
He's here. Here is like the newest member of BTS. His name's Mikami.
We stand a legend. So, I hate him, actually. He's the worst, but...
so I had a complete 180 on Mikami. I started out really liking him. Then in the span of like 10 minutes, he destroyed it all. And I was like, oh, damn it.
I know. I was like, I always forget. Like, I always remember that he got bullied as a kid, but I'm like, God, this is like, when you talk about how, like, you're like, Light has just been waiting to kill people, I'm like, no, that is Mikami. Like, Mikami from the age of 5 has been like, some people are just better off dead. And I'm like, Mikami, Jesus.
God damn. So, we open up episode 32, Selection, as we cut to, the killing for Kira's Kingdom. We see a stunning replay of the Nargacuga ass like writing in that scene. It was a thing. That we go ahead and get like this narrator who's like, like Mikami was a normal everyday person.
Yeah,
Boom. And I'm like, what is going on
what is
here?
happening?
Why are we at a series of unfortunate events now? What is going on? Uh
Literally, oh my god.
so he it's explained like he's always had like a sense of like what was right and what was wrong. But then one day that all changed. And we see him as like an older man, and he's like going through his apartment and stuff, which is a really nice apartment. I
Yeah.
gotta say the highlight of season 2 is that it feels like the background artists were just having a fucking field day, like designing like the apartments that they wish they had. uh
Yeah, instead of just like the generic like task force headquarters, like you get like Light's tasteful apartment and Mikami's like really nice sleek apartment with all his bookshelves and his legal shit, and
yeah.
Misa's apartment, which is really nice, and yeah.
So we get really nice apartments, and then we're told about like his backstory, like back when he was a child and he used to be bullied, but he would stand up to the bullies and he would always be thanked. And he's like, ah, yes, like that's what it was all for. It was all for getting thanked. It was all for like doing the right thing.
And then he's like, I just love killing. Like,
But then that all changed when the Fire Nation attacked. No, he went to middle school, and as we all know, middle school fucking sucks.
yeah, I mean, this is a fair analysis. Like, I think we all came out of middle school and high school being like, I really do believe some people are better off dead. But then we all grow up a little and we're like, yeah, like, I mean, it just sucks and it's a bad time in everyone's life. We don't get to go on to be prosecutors and serving serial killers.
Serving serial killers. Some of us go ahead and become prosecutors and become Edgeworth from Phoenix Wright, and then that because that's basically what like Mikami was supposed to be. Is like oh, he's Edgeworth. Somebody on the team played Phoenix Wright, and they're like, I really like this character. We should make him a real character in this anime, and they completely missed the point of what Edgeworth was, and so they made Mikami instead.
They made Mikami instead. Like,
So he was talking about like how like when he was bullied, like his mom was just like, yo, maybe don't always stand up for the right thing, which also I feel
is literally just translated as like, I love you and I wish you'd stop needlessly throwing yourself into dangerous situations because I don't want to see you get hurt constantly. And he's like, my mom deserves to die. I'm like, oh my god.
my mom's words were hollow, and that's when the first miracle happened. As like she gets ran over by a car like driven by like his high school bullies, which is all right, cool, great. That's happening now, I guess.
This might as well happen.
Like this might as well happen. And he's like, yeah, like after that, like I realized that like not everything was a coincidence. God was watching me. God, Kira, and
You're like, whoa, buddy. And he's like, nope, was I wrong? And we're like, nope, I guess you weren't.
you weren't. And this is kind of where we start going through like his sort of downward spiral into worshiping Kira, as he was like on TV and stuff. He was a prosecutor, and he realized that like all the people that he was judging as like not good were getting murdered all at the same time, which I'm pretty sure a lot of other prosecutors were thinking that too. And I'm pretty sure a lot of prosecutors were like, I negotiated so that he would only get like 14 years, not death. Like,
yeah, Mika was like, I wish mine would get death.
Like give him cake or give him death.
Yeah.
God.
You're like, okay.
So yeah, we cut more to his normal life as he's like going to the gym, just getting swole and shit.
Yeah. Also, I love your note when you're like, Mama's boy. Oh, never mind, not a Mama's boy, because immediately she dies, and he's like, thank you, God. And I'm like, whoa. Whoa, buddy.
Oh, God. So he's emotionally stunted. He's an evangelical Christian. Like, yeah, of course, he's the perfect target for Kira, really.
Yeah, he was predisposed to being like, what would be great? Working for a serial killer.
You know what would be great? Like going ahead and just like making a new religion. You should make a religion out of this. And all of us are like, no, don't.
Hey, don't do that. And Mikami's like, sign me the fuck up.
God.
Oh, He's a blast.
He's blessed. He's great.
He's
Uh,
great. Yeah.
so after that, we go ahead and let's see. Trying to get through my notes here. um, yes. All right. So Ryuk is just overlooking Mikami as he's doing all this. He's like delete, 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 and Ryuk just walks away like, okay, you do you, man.
Have fun with that. And he's like, oh, I will. And he's like, okay, well, all right. And he just walks off. And then I think what we segue to after that is, isn't it Takada? Like now that Jay James is dead, then we have like a newscaster now who's like, I'm professional and sleek. Remember that bitch that was on the bus with Light in episode like 3? And you're like, no. And she's like, well, I'm back. Like, okay.
No. She's even less of a character. She was like she was like the one girl like was interacting with in college that was there for like a solid like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yep. And now she's like, I'm back. And we're like, I guess this is how it goes.
And he's like, you know what'll get people to pay attention to Kira? And we're like, what? Big old titties, because her titties are big.
Yeah, like, they are. I had that same thought. I was like, damn, like she's so skinny, but they're just like, blah, blah.
Blah, blah. And like, she's like, this is how everybody's gonna get to listen to Kira. This is how everybody will go ahead and live the word of Kira, because maybe you'll get to go ahead and take a smack at these. And I'm just like,
these hunkabadongas.
These bongalongaloos.
I was waiting for you to bring that up. I was like, I wonder if they're gonna say it. Hunkabongaroos.
But no, this is actually an interesting thing because it does, like, I wish the anime in the second half was focusing a lot more on the idea that like the whole idea of Kira has become a religious movement, not just like, you know, people are fucking scared of like a serial killer. Like,
yeah,
people are like, oh no, this is how you live by Kira. This is what Kira wants. Like, it be like they truly do believe like Kira is God, and that's interesting because I'm like, it's just this one dude. It's just this one egotistical, like, you know, emotionally stunted child, basically. And everybody thinks that, like, you know, he's way more powerful than he actually is, when meanwhile he's way more pathetic.
Yeah, no, that, and I love that because that's what we're building up to, and I'm glad that they're layering in a bunch of like religious overtones, and they're just like, this is God, and like he's like, yes, I'm God, and then we just have this like fart of an ending where he just like and dies, and I'm like, yeah, like it's just so important though. It is so good that we build Light up like this because it goes to show you that like he's just a kid with a power, like he's just a boy that got. He's a bad boy that got like.
He's a bad boy. He's a bad boy. He's got a black. Boy. He's got a black notebook. He's going to do bad things with it. Oh no, a criminal died because he's bad. He's bad. Bad.
Don't write your name in the notebook.
I feel like this is gonna be the episode where we segue a lot more, just because we're so disinterested with what's actually going on.
Honestly, like we have very bad. We apologize, but we're having really not a fun time trying to focus on these like just terrible episodes. The only part of this whole 3 episodes I enjoy is Misa, and I'm just like, my leg is bouncing just to get to the part about Misa so we can talk about Misa, because that's all I care about.
Oh god. Well, all right. We'll go ahead and try to go through the rest of this.
So we got Takada.
Yeah. So we got Takada who talks. And you're like, why don't we go ahead and like get in touch with her? That'll be like a direct line to Kira, basically. And
yeah, and I was like, didn't y'all date in college? Or he doesn't even say that. Light's like, actually, I know her. We dated in college. And I was like, I knew that. I'm glad he brought it up though. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna call her. Let's call her and we'll get her to admit she works for Kira. And I'm like, wow, this is really funny, really coincidental. And then he calls her and he's like, Takada, how's it going? And she's like, oh, funny of you to like call me out of the blue. What do you want, you fuckboy? And he's like, I feel like it's fate that like our jobs have us crossing paths again. And she's like, oh my god, it's fate. And he's like, yeah, do you want to meet at a hotel room? She's like, oh my god, a hotel room? That's really scandalous. Are things not going well at home? And he's like, no, my girlfriend's an idiot. And then we're all like, you fucking slut. And then he goes to a hotel room and he's just standing there looking like freaking Dorian Gray or whatever the fuck.
Oh my god.
He's just 50 Shades of Grey and up by a window with like is there an Eiffel Tower in Japan?
Tokyo Tower, yes.
Okay, well, like, I was sitting here like, when did we get to Paris? I hate this. And he's just like, this like chill piano music. He's like, dun, dun, dun. He like looks over his shoulder and he's like, I missed you. And she's like, what? And he's like, what? And they just start talking. I hate it. I hate everything about this. It's so awful. I hope Elle is laughing his ass off in heaven right now.
Oh my god. Like,
it's the worst.
And then Matsuda is over here like, oh, this is perfect. This is just like...
Matsuda's just watching The Bachelor. Like, he's just...
Matsuda is such a fan of trash TV. Like,
he is.
You know...
Boy
Good
is
on
like
him. Good on him. He's living his best
every
life.
day, keeping up with the Kardashians. Like, he is like #1 fan. He's just... And Ide's like, what is he doing? Asking and saying this stuff right out front. And he's like, Ide, are you kidding me? Like, this is setting the mood. And Ide's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, and I wish this would end. And we're like, same, Ide. Ide is the guy with no eyebrows, if anybody's wondering. He doesn't have any eyebrows, and it bothers me.
Can never tell what he's thinking. Can never
yeah,
tell.
Literally. I'm like, what? Ide, you just look angry, but not all the time. With your small pupils.
Just small
Anyways,
pupils.
He has small pupils and no eyebrows, so he just looks on edge. I'm sorry. Okay.
All right. So anyway, we also cut back to Misa hanging out with Mochi, and she's like, "Hey, Mochi, I appreciate the food. I appreciate everything here. Why can't I see light?" And Mochi's like,
because he hates you.
He's like, "Listen, that's not gonna happen right now. Listen, honey, you should have higher standards." Like, Mochi doesn't say that, but basically, I like to think that the subtext is, you should have higher standards. He's a suspect in a murder case twice. We should
maybe you should, like, just rely on your modeling career, and I could be your manager. We could just get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And Misa's just like, I'm mad. I don't get to see my boyfriend anymore.
And he's like, you're a model. I'm gay. We can make this work.
Yeah, literally. Like, let's just run away and have a funny little sitcom together. It'll be like Will and Grace, but I don't know, better. Like, it is in
It'll
any
be
way.
better because it's anime, but it won't be because the writers of the show are garbage. So, yeah, and meanwhile, Mel's just listening in on this, and he's like, really? This was the second Kira? Are you kidding me?
Mel is just sitting there with his rebound boy, like, isn't he like playing a Nintendo 3DS in the background or something? That just make like, they're just like hanging out, and Mel is like, this girl's an idiot, and I'm just like, and yet,
don't be mean to my
got away with all of it.
She's an angel with no boundaries. Leave her alone. So Mikami makes like, a statement that like, oh, we should kill all lazy people or whatever.
Because he's insane. And Light's like, whoa, buddy, maybe slow down a bit. But he doesn't deny it. He's like, I mean, like, I would make that kind of thing, that kind of demand, but I wouldn't be doing it this soon. Oh, have some class. And I'm like, God in heaven.
Get out of here. Anyway, so, yeah, he's back with Taka, or fuck, I forget her name.
Talks a lot.
Talks a lot. He's here with Takada, and he goes ahead, does all the code talk, and eventually, like, he gets Mikami on the line, and he's like, look at the page here, and he's like, it's gone! Oh my god! And Mikami's like, yeah, nope, that's him. That's the real Kira. And suddenly,
you God! And just screams it. You're God! In the phone, and I'm like, oh my god, Mikami, you can't talk to God on the phone! Like,
what if God was one of us?
The whole point
is like one of us.
I'm gonna skip to episode 37 and just paste that YouTube clip of that song in here and just be like, just a slop, like what?
uh,
Anyways,
anyway, so Light goes ahead and fools the rest of the task force to be like, I'm talking with Kira right now. Disconnect all like the things, otherwise he's going to kill me. And like, fuck, I guess we gotta do that. So
no, like, wait, I don't think. Okay, I'm sorry. This is why I got really mad. Like, I don't understand this part. He's like, oh god, I've got Kira on the line. I'm disconnecting all the microphones. I'm like, why? In what way can you justify that?
you know,
Like, you're like, so Kira can't kill. I'm like, how? How is the mic's gonna? I'm sorry. This is worse than the potato chip bag to me. Like, I get so mad. Like, he's just like, okay, I'm gonna take all the mics off, and I was like, we don't have a choice, and I'm like, don't you? Like, I would be running down to that hotel room and be like, what the fuck are y'all talking about here? Like, we are literally suspecting you of being Kira, and you're like, okay, for no reason at all other than I was on the phone with Kira, I'm gonna. A conversation that would be very imperative that we have like audio of. I'm just gonna disconnect all the mics. And he comes back to the apartment. Everyone's like, "How did it go?" And I'm like, I would have had the noose ready to go as soon as he walked in. I would have been like, Red Dead this up, and be like, "What the fuck was that about, you little shit?" I'm sorry. I get really mad at this part because I just can't understand why they didn't hang him up when he got back to the hotel room. Anyways, he gets all the mics are gone, and he's like talking to I'm Kira, and she's like, "Oh my god, I always thought you were great, but now that you're Kira, it's amazing." No, it's like, yeah, it's amazing. I know, I've heard this before. Surprisingly enough, as it is, want a date? Want to be the goddess of the new world? And she's like, I do. I really do want that.
I like her exact words here. You're the only man I ever felt a connection with, and I was just like, wow, you can really tell that this anime was written by a man.
You're gonna regret that. Like, you're gonna regret making a connection. She dies a horrible death.
Anyway. So, episode 33 called Scorn. Now, this is my favorite.
Same. This is what I've been, like, dying to get to.
So we open up with Nier. He's just building some models, and he calls up, one of his buddies. I forget his name, and he's like, hey, I need you to come back to New York real quick. And he's like, why?
Why?
He's like, well, I'm going to Japan. Okay. Why do you need me in New York?
I'm baby.
I'm baby. I don't know how to plan a flight for myself.
I need an escort. And he's like, aren't you like 19? And he's like, I'm baby. I want chicken nuggets.
I want chicken nuggets. I always ask Mello if he wants the chicken nuggets, but I want chicken nuggets.
With buffalo. Just like, I want
the buffalo. I want the buffalo sauce.
I want the ranch and the buffalo. We'll mix them. I want French fries and a Frosty. Do you want a McFlurry? Yes. Do you want Oreo? No, you idiot! Of course I want M&M's. They're babies. I love it. I love how baby they are. They're just like, I don't want to fly on a plane because I'm socially stunted and a genius. And I'm like, finally.
Oh, God, hold on. I gotta blow my nose. I'm crying.
Also, in the background, it's Christmas when you see them talking together. It's Christmas time. And so they get a little Christmas tree in the background.
Yep.
And it's adorable.
It's adorable. So yeah, they got a little Christmas tree in the background. So he goes ahead and gets on the phone with Light, and he's like, all right, now that I'm done being baby, it's time to be big boy now.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Capital N. Initiated.
And initiated. So Light, I'm coming to Japan. We should go ahead and meet. You and me. And go ahead and tell Takada, since I'm pretty sure you already got in contact with Miss Big Old Titties there, tell Titties that, like, hey, the SPK is going to be in Japan. There's only 4 of us. And he's like, why would you only say there's only 4 of you? He's like, I'm going to be Kira at his own game. He ain't going to be able to resist trying to kill all of us at that point.
Yeah.
Like 4 is not a big number.
It's not. And then they go through this like very like L and Light esque like dramatic monologue in their heads. Like he's just like they're both like getting in the elevator under the Tokyo Tower,
Yep.
and they're just like dun 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 dun. They're just like going up, and they're like, well, I guess we might run into each other then. Yeah, that would be something, wouldn't it? And they're just like dun 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 dun. They're like eyes looking back at each other, getting closer and closer and closer on their irises, and then he's just like, from the very beginning, this has been a fight against L, and now that he's gone, I'm fighting his heirs. And I'm like, yep,
Yep.
we've already said all this, but time for another dramatic cutscene of y'all not actually in a tower, but looking cool in the tower. And then, yeah, so that all happens, and it's amusing at the very least. But
And he's like, yeah, once he's gone, I'll reign at the top. Once this battle's finally over, and I've won. And I'm like,
Yeah.
y'all are getting ahead of yourself there, Light. And you know how well that worked out for you before.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't.
it didn't.
So anyway,
Gonna die. Okay, sorry.
so Nier's set up in Japan now, which I'm imagining for him is like fucking amazing because he's like, I want to go to the Gundam store. Take me
Literally.
to the Gundam store.
They're
And-
like, near, please focus. And he's like, after the Gundams.
At
I have
the-
to get toys to represent Kira.
And he does. He gets Legos.
He gets Lego.
He gets like highly customized Legos, and it's amazing. And he's like, yeah, like here are like all the Kiras that are in play. We have like L Kira. We have X Kira, who's like the new one that's doing all the killings. We have
Baby Kira.
Titties over here, who's probably the bridge between like L Kira and X Kira.
Yep.
And yeah, like that's all that are in play. Now we could just take the easy way and just, kill them. But that's not how we operate. And I'm like, yeah, but it's kind of effective if you were to do it that way.
Yeah, no, I thought that was interesting, and I kind of liked it because I mean at this point I'm like, yeah, I wish that you would just kill everybody, but mostly Light, and he's just like, but that's not how we work, and I'm like, aw, Nier respects the way that, and I like how he says we. He's specifically referencing like he's like, that's not the way L and I do things, and I'm like, aw.
Aww.
He still respects L, thank you. But like in the same breath, I'm like, oh my god, L was literally going to use the notebook to kill someone to test out a theory about the rule in the book. Like,
Yep.
But also, I do kind of support the fact that he's like, I want these guys to rot in prison for the rest of their life.
Like
I don't. I think they deserve death. Like, I don't think there's not really any other alternative at this point. You've killed thousands of people. You must die. Like,
Now, what I want is for fucking Light to be like strung up on a cross since he's so like pent up on
oh
this
yeah,
religious.
is this
imagery.
dramatic enough for you?
Like, is this dramatic enough for you? He's like, yes.
No. He's like, can I get some red lighting over here? And there's like, God, kill him. Like, just shoot him. Crucify him.
Just crucify him. Have him hooked up for an IV for the rest of his life. Don't even have him move around.
Oof.
Just
That is an alternative.
that sure is. I understand that it's inhumane, but
He's killed thousands of people.
and he's ruined so many lives. Sorichio being the most important, and L.
Yeah, it's genocide. Like, he's literal genocide levels of destruction. So, like, that's what we would have done to Hitler if we could have got a hold of him before things, But yeah,
Can't imagine the parallels between Light and Hitler here.
I just can't even grasp it. Just can't.
Can't. So anyway, yeah, he is like, yeah, we're not gonna take the easy way out here. And then Mikabe's game more like orders from Light, and he's like, well, I guess God is absolute. And he takes out 5 pages of the Death Note to give to Takada.
Yeah.
And
He's like, I'm jealous.
he's like, I'm jealous. I'm
Don't
baby.
mention it. Yeah, I'm special. I'm Kira X Kira. And she's like, okay, but I'm dating Kira. And he's like, God, I wish that was me.
I wish that was me. And this raised the question, how many pages are in the Death Note?
Okay, I have also had this question, and I'm like, how do they not run out of pages?
Yeah.
Because they've killed thousands of people. Like, they have to... Like, okay, but my favorite theory is that, like, it starts out and, like, just writes and, like, really haphazardly, like he did that first name, and it was,
Yeah.
all over the page. You didn't care. And then like as, as they're flipping through it, they're like, oh, oh, oh. And it's like the writing gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and he starts writing outside the margins. He's like, shit, I'm running out of room. Like,
Shit.
oh, that would be the funniest thing to go through and be like, oh, the guy was pressed.
You know, it's like that would be the most impressive thing that Light has ever done.
Yeah. Right between the lines.
Yep. And then after that, he goes ahead and takes the 5 pages, I guess sends it out to Takeda, and he starts using a fake Death Note. This will become important later on, I bet.
I'm so tired.
We then cut to like a real I guess a reality TV show starring Takeda now, because okay, and she's mentioning helpful tips for kids about Kira. Remember, kids, be nice or Kira will murder you for anything that you could do. Even any personal lie is a viable target. No one's safe.
Yep. And you're like, oh my god, this is 1984.
It's it's a bit worse.
Remember, children, report your parents if they are criminals. Report your parents if they say something mean to your other parent.
So we then
emotions are forbidden. Sorry.
We then cut to Nier just like having his author powers moment as he's like, oh,
with the psychic eyes.
He's like, oh, Mikami is the second Kira. Light is in contact with him through Takeda. Oh, it makes sense.
I know this because he suddenly appeared on every TV screen in my little headquarters room. Just a bunch of Mikamis on the same Kira channel, just like, I think that God's right. And even though thousands of other people are saying it, I think it's Teru Mikami. And I'm just like, well, good deductive reasoning, quote unquote, because it is Mikami. Let's stalk him.
Let's go ahead and stalk Mikami now. So, meanwhile, while this is going on, we go ahead and cut to Misa here in the studio, walking up towards Takeda, and she's like, this bitch. Hold on. She takes off her earrings, gives it to Mogi.
Yeah, she's like, hold on, I'm gonna beat this bitch.
I'm gonna beat this bitch up. I'm gonna go kick her. And like, that's her exact words. I'm gonna go kick her. And Mochi's like, hold
Maybe
on. Don't do that.
She has like 4 new bodyguards, one of which we don't. Oh, by the way, one of Nier's ladies is one of the bodyguards for Takeda. I guess is important because she's reporting on Takeda. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so Misa like sees her and she's like, hey! And she just like goes on this fucking loud ass spiel. She's like, oh my god, she doesn't even know Light's just using her because he's on the police force. He was to catch Kira. And the police is like, or not the police is like, Mochi is like, hey, maybe don't announce that in the middle of the thing. She's like, I didn't announce it. That's why I whispered it. And Takeda is just staring at her like, you literally shouted that across the hallway at me. And then she's like, and just like walks away. And Misa's like, I'm gonna kill this bitch. And she like walks over. And freaking Nier's blonde bodyguard is like, and like gets her in a freaking hold. And she's like, ew. And then she like lets her fall down. And Takeda's like, that's my friend. Be nice to her. And she's like, I'm your freaking friend. Fuck you. And she walks out. It's so funny. It's the most personality. Yeah. It's not. It's just like I just love it because like I want Misa to throw down at anybody. Like like I just want. I'm like that meme where the guy's like, don't you ever get tired of being nice? Don't you want to just go ape shit? Like ever since Light knocked that tea out of her hands, I'm like, kill him. Or if you can't kill him, just lose your shit on someone. Like, give us the catharsis of like letting Misa break a wine bottle over a bitch's head. I need it. So then Takeda invites her to dinner.
Yeah. But before that, we see Aizawa just like in the room with Light as he's talking with Nier again, and Nier's like, hey, I want to talk to Aizawa again, and Aizawa just comes so fast to the phone and he's like, what's up,
like,
babe?
Hey, I'm here. and Light's like, ugh.
And this is y'all probably won't see this because I'm pretty sure most everybody listens to this rather than watch it. There's a purple guy.
Oh my god, I'm fucking dead.
There's a purple guy.
You should make him the picture for the podcast, like the.
Oh, don't worry. That is gonna be the picture for the Instagram post. Is like this guy.
This guy.
This guy.
He's a purple guy, and he's riding down the car the wrong way. That's not how you drive a car, purple guy.
He doesn't care.
What
Look at
do
him.
you do? He doesn't care at all.
He's so happy.
He's so happy and relaxed. I wish I was this guy. Or maybe he's concealing 33 episodes of suffering, and he's looking at the camera like, I wish I was under this car instead of on it. I'm so tired, and I'm just a little creature.
Oh, just.
I cannot change this.
I'm baby.
I'm baby. And me. Anyways.
So Nier has Mikami tracked, and Giovanni's like, there's nothing unusual about him. Like, maybe we should just stop. And Nier's like, no, we are following him. We are following him, and there's nothing you can do to stop that. He's like, okay.
I guess. Giovanni's like, shit, okay.
So, yeah, Kiyomi is also this bad bitch who loves drama. As we go ahead and see, like, outside of their, like, I guess, hotel or whatever, and it's Christmas. I know this was established before, but it's established a lot now. It's totally Christmas.
Christmas.
So
it's just Misa drunk outside. It's Christmas! Merry Chrysler! And it's like...
So, Misa just goes for, like, the glass of wine, just downs it all in one gulp, and you just see, like, Takada just looking at her like,
wow.
It's gonna be that kind of night. And Misa is just Misa is just here, ready to throw hands. She is so ready.
Oh my god.
So,
and, like, they go back and forth with this, like, petty bullshit. It's so great. It's the funniest thing to happen in Death Note. It's so underrated, because everyone's like, it's so cheap, blah, blah. I'm like, I love this. This is exactly what the show needed to, like, keep me interested and having a good time. And amidst all of this, like, I removed the mics, and I'm like, God! And then Misa's like, I'm engaged to Light, dumbass. Takada's just like, wow, does Light know about this? And she's like, of course he knows. I can't get engaged on my own. And she's just like...
And then she just starts drinking from the bottle because she's that kind of bitch. I am like...
that bitch.
I am like, this is goals. Fucking...
Oh, it's so good.
And she just keeps going at her, and I'm just like, oh, she just needs to, like, just jump over this table and just, like, start... Like,
I'm only drinking this so I don't waste it when I bash you over the head with the bottle. Like, I love her.
God.
It makes me so mad. Like, I just wish they would both leave Light for each other and pull like a like a Legend of Korra and just be like, anyways, we're gonna go on to, like, be good friends and even girlfriends, but that can't happen because it's Death Note.
It's Death Note. So yeah, after that, Takada basically convinces herself like, no, Light loves me because he called me his goddess, and he revealed that he was Kira to me, and I'm like, you're like, I don't know, the 18th person this has happened to.
Literally, I'm just like, Takada, you don't think maybe. Well, that's what, like, makes her laugh. She's like, because Misa's like, I used to worship Kira, but I support Light more than I support Kira, because blah, 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 blah. And then Takada's just like, oh my god, she doesn't know Light's Kira. And then Misa's just like, yep. Anybody associated with Kira will probably be executed. And Takada just, like, spills her wine glass and starts busting out laughing or trying to, like, control her laughing because she's like, this dumb bitch. And Mace's just like, are you fucking laughing at me? Like, and then Takada's just like, this was a mistake. You're a child. I'm leaving. And Misa's like, you're the one walking away, bitch. I win. You lose. Just like Nicki Minaj laughing with the rest of the bottle of the wine.
Just
just...
As like Takada just fucking leaves, like Misa just comes out and she's like, Mochi, thank you so much for waiting. And Mochi's like,
take me home.
And Mochi's like, you okay? She's like, I won. Me. It was me.
Can we get some chicken nuggies now? And he's like, sure, bitch, get in the car. I
He's
can't. Help me into the car.
she just this is gonna be the recurring thing. She just goes, "I'm baby."
I'm baby. She's just a little baby.
Oh God. So
We did it.
yeah. Before that, Giovanni's watching Mika me kill some sex offender, and
Oh, yeah. That
you
was
know
good.
he takes a photo with his phone. I can't imagine that this is gonna be important later on. It probably will be.
Oh, yeah.
So
Who cares about evidence? The mics were removed. Who fucking cares? Like, who fucking cares? It's fine, I guess. We don't need evidence. Like,
I can't believe we've gotten to the
priority.
point where you are tired of Death Note.
I just hate it so much. Like, there's no, like they could have found a way to be like, oh, they just could have found any other way than being like, I'm removing the mics, and they're like I'd have been like, why? Like, this,
Yeah.
no, answer me. Like, why? And he just comes back and he's like, do, time to make some tea. And they're like, okay, Light, have some tea. And I'm like, I want to die. I'm sorry. I just hate that so. I hate it more than the chip bag. I don't care. I don't care. It makes no sense. The show, like, even the chip bag, you're like, okay, the bitch just got the bag and he, like, somehow got it sealed back up and it's stupid. And he's like, oh, I only managed to kill a few people and then I threw it away. I'm like, so was it over the top? Yes. Is it mildly inexplicable? Yes. But with this, it's like, Elle wasn't, like, in the room, like he was watching, but it's understandable how he got away with it. It's just ridiculous that he attempted it at all. This is like, I am directly talking to the task force, saying that I'm going to remove their monitor of me. Finn, don't.
You know?
My cat's trying to get out of the room. He just let him. It pisses me off. I'm sorry. I hate it so much. There's just it's bad. Bad writing, or the task force are just stupid.
You know,
I'm gonna go with stupid because I don't want to admit that there's bad writing in the show. Just they did this so that we could watch Light die sooner, and I'm not gonna hurt them for that. I'm not gonna dock points for that. But
or they could have just had L be the one to pull the trigger.
Yeah, that's true. Or at that moment, he could have come home, and I would have been like, "Why'd you remove the wiretaps?" And Light would have been like, I don't know. And Aizawa could have been like, you're Kira, and put handcuffs on him.
Just put some handcuffs on him, like, hey, here we go, bye.
And he's gonna be like, prove it. And he's like, okay, I could have, if you hadn't taken the fucking mics off. Like,
you know? Oh, God.
My God. Oh, I'm sorry. I thank you for letting me just...
No. Considering that took 33 episodes to finally get you at the same level that I've been at for the past 33 episodes.
Since episode 2. Like,
yeah.
God, that part always makes me, like, so mad. I'm just, okay, I'm not gonna do the whole spiel again, but, like, it just is stupid. And I'm like, I understand that you guys are tired and you want to finish the show, but, like, there's no way he could have talked himself out of that.
Oh, God.
It's just dumb.
It's dumb. So, the next episode is going to be 4 episodes of Death Note, and it's over.
And it's the finale, and then we're done.
We're done. I really wish I had more to say about these episodes. I really don't. These were just a whole lot of nothing. Like, it really was. There wasn't really any big plot developments other than shit we already knew.
Yeah, like, they just feel... like, it's just introducing Mikami and Takeda, who die, and I don't care. Like, they just die super... I don't know. I don't care about Mikami and Takeda. I love this part of the show because of Mello and Nier, but, like, they have fallen to the background so that Light can be like, I also have a Mello and a Nier, and I'm like, no, you don't! Stop! Just, like... And he's like, no, I have a team, and I'm like, Light, if you don't die right now, I swear to God. It just... Like, I just want to get to the ending because it's really cool and it makes me like, but this is the hardest part of the show.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it takes forever and they're making all kinds of, like, crazy assumptions and jumps. Light just doesn't give a shit. And he's like, I took off the mics because I did. And I was like, we don't have a choice. And I have an aneurysm in my seat. And then they just keep going with the plot and it's hard to get through, but the next couple episodes are going to be good because people are going to start dying. There's going to be action. We're going to turn light into Swiss cheese.
Yay!
Yeah, and it's going to be great. We're going to see Elle again.
Yay!
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Oh god.
It's all been worth it. It's all been worth it for this.
So, I'm gonna ask you for your social medias and stuff, but I'm gonna send you a palate cleanser. I want to kind of keep this on audio.
Okay.
It's something completely unrelated to anime or Death Note, but Bran, where can we find you on the internet?
Hit me up on Instagram at Branwiches. That's Bran and then Wiches. If you want to follow me, I post pictures of my cat all the time. And he's great, and he's fat, and he's got a big butt, and he's really cute.
Well, let me send you this palate cleanser here.
Okay. What is that? Is this the dog at the end of the...
Wait.
Video games cause people to be violent. I love it. But one time, I don't think I'd ever seen that until one time. Shout out to Kalen at work.
Yeah.
He brought this up on a Sunday, and I don't think I stopped laughing for like 10 minutes. He's like, I can't believe you haven't seen this yet. And I'm like, what game is this from? And he was like, Silent Hill. And I lost my mind. I was like, excuse me?
Oh god.
Oh, so funny. That was a really good palate cleanser, though. Like, my mood immediately boosted.
You know, all right.
And
well,
he's done with a little Borkin.
hey, everybody needs a little Borkin sometime.
A little Borkin.
Okay. Well, with that, we're gonna go ahead and take it on over to Code Geass Land, anime that, you know, me and M seem to enjoy a great deal more than literally anything else here. So, all right, bye.
Why?
Hi everybody, it's not Code Geass time. I'm Joe. I'm here with my L.
Hello.
So we're not talking about Code Geass, because I kinda got bored. And then I started playing Fire Emblem instead.
Yeah.
And as you know, I am horrible with like maintaining like a consistent thing unless otherwise prompted. And I think with Code Geass, like we're kind of at a point now where it's like we'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
But otherwise, things that are interesting are in Fire Emblem. But before we go ahead and talk about that, what are we drinking today?
So we're drinking Dogfish Head Sea Quench Ale, which is just a good old classic session sour because we like sours.
We do like sours.
It's good. It's refreshing.
It's in a tall boy.
Oh yeah, it's a tall boy.
Yeah.
It's a big boy. We love it. They start making tall boys of craft beers now, and then you can just like pick up at like, you know, gas station.
Yep.
That's how we be. That's what we do. And I just feel like it's appropriate.
Yeah.
You know.
We're kind of in the pre-hurricane like moment right now.
Yeah, I think there's nothing more Floridian than sitting watching a hurricane come and flying at you and being like, guess I'll just drink this tall boy
Yeah.
craft beer.
Yeah, it's nice though. So, with that, let's go ahead and jump into our kind of shared experience here with Fire Emblem.
Yeah, should we go over a little bit of our relationship to Fire Emblem?
Absolutely. So, for me, I never really played much of the Fire Emblem series. It's always been kind of auxiliary to me. My first exposure, I feel like anybody in the States, was, you know, Melee and seeing, like, Roy and Marth and be like, what are these anime characters doing in my Nintendo game?
Fair.
So that was kind of my first exposure to it. Then I played the demo for Awakening a long time ago on the 3DS. I really, really liked it. But I had never really bought one. I never really committed to buying one. I've just always been on the fringes, just looking at the, looking more at the fan art and kind of like people's expectations from there. And just kind of living vicariously through other people. Because the other thing that also just sounded stressful was the whole permadeath thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I play BattleTech, which also has permadeath, but
But this permadeath particularly sucks.
Yeah, it particularly sucks because, like, not to say, like, the people in Battletech don't have, like, personalities, but people in Fire Emblem have very distinct, like, they are anime tropes. You get accustomed to them. They kind of grow on you.
Yeah.
And it sucks when you see them die, and you're just like, oh, God, no, my poor baby boy. So it was that. I slept through Fates. All I know is that there was 2 versions. One you were playing as like the goths, or you're playing as the weebs.
Yeah.
And then there's like a secret third route where you are the green choice from BioWare, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
And then they made, I guess, a remake of Fire Emblem 2 for the 3DS. I don't know much about that. So then when Three Houses was kind of announced, like formally announced, I was kind of sleeping through that too for the most part.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't really have much of an interest. It's fantasy. I like sci-fi more than anything else. But then Austin Walker talked about it, and he's like, yo, this thing has a lot to say about geopolitics and like the idea of race and nationality. And I'm like, dope. And he's like, but don't have a lot to say about being gay. And I'm like, not dope, but I'm kind of in it for like the whole like geopolitical sort of intrigue shit. And that's what pushed me over the edge. That and all the character designs were really gay.
Oh yeah.
And I know there was at least one gay dude, and there's a lot of subtext for a lot of other people being gay. It's just that Nintendo are a bunch of cowards.
Well, there's a lot of lesbians, so there's that.
There's that too, yeah.
Yeah, and so whereas you most recently stumbled into, I would say, modern Fire Emblem, I got into it when it first came stateside with the original Fire Emblem, or not the original, but the title Fire Emblem and the Sacred Stones. I have a very, very love-hate relationship with this game. So I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to playing games like this. I really get into the min and max like strategy, which anyone who knows min maxing in Fire Emblem is just setting yourself up for failure pretty much all the time.
All the time,
Forever and always. So I played the original Fire Emblem. I got most of the way through it, and then I was playing Sacred Stone, and I've never actually finished the Sacred Stones. I usually get to a point where I rage quit it out of sheer frustration, trying to recruit a certain ally, a certain character before they basically commit seppuku on my characters. Like literally, you would have this one character that you have to get your protagonist to talk to them and recruit them, but instead they just run at my paladin and then they're dead. You know, basically they run at everyone and get themselves killed, and you're like, great, I guess I have to restart. So that's kind of I rage quit that. And then I would not look at a Fire Emblem game for 3 years, and then there would be a re-release, or I would just like dig it back up and be like, oh, I remember having so much fun playing this game. I'm just gonna restart it. It's fine. And then I would get pretty much to the same exact point, and then rage quit it again. And we just complete that cycle. I think I had a little bit better time playing Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. Those games are lovely. I love the characters. But also still, I have this love-hate relationship with the permadeath system. And now we're into modern age Fire Emblem, where you don't actually have to experience permadeath if you don't want to.
Yeah.
But there's just part of me that like loses my soul at the thought of like just like my childhood anguish. I need to experience that again.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm putting myself through suffering thinking I have to experience permadeath. So now I'm just sitting on the sidelines watching Joe play it, because also current Fire Emblem is nothing like the original series. It's I mean, like, this is basically Persona at this point. There is much more of a focus on socialization than there is the actual act of playing chess.
Yeah, and that was part of the reason why, like, I kind of gravitated towards, like, doing casual mode instead of, doing, like, the permadeath mode, because, like, looking at the characters, hearing, like, how they kind of interact with each other, it's like, I don't want to miss out on those particular moments, and the actual strategy game aspect is fun, for me. Like, I do enjoy playing that. I'm only, I think it's at chapter 8 now, so I haven't finished the game yet.
Yeah. You're by no means anywhere close.
I'm nowhere close, but, getting to about chapter 8 and, like, kind of experiencing the battles, like, I like this sort of, like, less of a save scummy type way of playing this game, where it's like I have to reload each save every time if I lose a fucking character.
Yeah.
Because, like, that was the thing that was starting to make me bounce off of Battletech, was, like, I would lose, like, my good sniper, like, every time. And it would always, like, kind of go sideways. Granted, that's very compelling. It makes for a good story to just tell other people.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? The one dude you get at the beginning of Battletech that everybody loses because he just suicide bombs himself.
Yeah.
And now it's less like that, and I like it. It's a lot more fun, and like you said, it's a little bit more Persona-esque, because instead of having, like, I'm not sure how Classic Fire Emblem did the whole recruiting thing.
So essentially, original Fire Emblem was like you start with a few characters, particularly Fire Emblem and the Sacred Stones. You're starting with a few characters. You meet characters who are in, when you're engaged in battles, you'll, like, go cross swords with, like, mercenaries or, enemies. And there will be the one unique character sprite that appears. It's like, it's one of the mercenaries happens to actually have a real sprite. And you're like, yes, this person's recruitable. And then there will be, parts throughout, like, where you rescue someone and then that person becomes a part of your team or whatever. And then from there, the characters establish relationships with other characters. And yeah, that's it. Whereas these newer ones, like, already kind of have a pre-established roster of characters that you kind of meet at the beginning. And it's your choice whether or not you want to engage with them.
Yeah, I guess the thing I was wondering is, like, for those mercenary characters, is it kind of like Pokemon where you just have to kind of beat them into submission?
So not exactly. There is, that's the thing, is they can kill themselves on your on your teammates.
Right.
It's usually, for most of them, you have to get your protagonist in. You have to get Lynn, or you have to get whoever else into the actual fray of the battle and interact with the character before they kill themselves.
Okay.
Or before they run away. There's also sometimes where we have those characters where they would only be in the battle for a period of, like, 7 turns, and you have to get to them during those 7 turns.
All right.
So it's very exhausting.
It sounds it.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason why I would rage quit, is, like, you'd be playing the game of chess and you'd be, your moves would be perfect. And then suddenly, the AI just changes its method and decides to just, like, it rolls the dice and decides, hey, I'm gonna have this character go at your Pegasus. Oh, and your Pegasus decided to crit. Oh, well, I guess this character's dead now. And you'd be like, fuck.
Yeah.
And one of the other things about Fire Emblem is it's not just, you're losing a potential good character down the line. You're not just losing a potentially good sword down the line. You are also losing support dialogue. You're losing relationships that character would have with the other characters on your team. So by losing this character, or by having someone die at mid-battle, you're losing, like, whole swaths of the game and whole potential, like, experience points, for other characters as well. when you get down to it, you can only really afford in a Fire Emblem game to lose maybe 2 or 3 characters throughout the entire game before you just start losing too much
story
and, but not just that, but power as well, that like you end up walking into the final battle like heavily unarmed, heavily unprepared, which makes your life a living nightmare. So it's kind of like the games require you to be precise, be perfect, and to save scum when a character dies.
Yeah.
I've only ever met one person who didn't care that such and such characters died, and they were like, yeah, also I'd never finished it because the final boss was too hard. And I'm like, yeah, probably that's why. I was, going to this newer game. I've even listened to some people talk about them and their playthroughs, in their first playthrough, not recruiting any of the additional characters.
Yeah.
And so when they got to the end of the game, they were woefully unprepared.
Yeah.
However, this game does really allow plenty of time for you to recruit characters. It's not like in the original series where, one mess up and that character's lost forever. There are multiple chances for you to gain allies, for you to gain support structures, for you to gain experience, so that when you head into that final battle, you are at peak performance. You're not unarmed.
Yeah. So I guess we should go ahead and kind of set the stage for what Fire Emblem Three Houses is. So it basically takes place in and every Fire Emblem I think is like a different sort of restart of the universe.
Ish.
It's like there's always a Fire Emblem in this game.
Yeah, there's always a Fire Emblem. Some of the games tend to go different paths with the history.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they all take place in the same world and follow similar
it's sort of similar themes, similar characters, similar histories,
similar plot lines, similar political climates. And there's even, if you're interested, Fire Emblem timelines that you can go through. It's kind of like the Legend of Zelda timelines. There are going to be ones where there's divergence and these two games don't fit together, but then you get all the I like to refer to them as the mainstay titles that feature a protagonist with blue hair. Pretty much all fall under the same timeline. Gee, I wonder why.
So with Fire Emblem Three Houses, it takes place in the land of Foldland, which is basically this giant continent with, you guessed it, 3 kingdoms just kind of right now peacefully coexisting. But you're kind of getting hints there's a bit of a Cold War underneath the surface.
Yeah.
Where it's not everybody's super stoked to be with each other. You have basically the Empire, which would be the House of the Black Eagles, who they're the Empire. Gee, I wonder what they do.
They want to rule everything.
You have the Kingdom of Fargus, which is the Blue Lions. Basically, they're kind of your stereotypical medieval kingdom. They're just we got a king, we got this, blah, blah, blah. They're nothing really special in that. And then you have the Alliance, which is the Golden Deer House. Basically, they are a sort of
a whole group of good boys being good boys.
They have a whole group of sort of provinces working together, but of course they all kind of have their own motivations, but there's a central house that makes sure
there's a central system to keep the capitalism in place.
Exactly.
It's basically man, we all have our own motives and want to make money, but we can all make that kind of money together by working together. It's all good. We're fine.
It's all good. These 3 kingdoms then send kind of their most important heirs and typical important people and just people who want to learn about war and shit because hey, yeah, that makes sense in peacetime, to Garreg Mach. I think I'm saying that wrong, but basically it's a monastery run by the Church of Cyrus,
which is the one unifying entity in this this area.
Now, why does a church have an army? Good question.
You know, that's a part of the storyline. If you're interested in engaging with that, definitely buy this game. But otherwise you're fine.
But the thing I really like about this is that it does set up these stakes. It does set up these sort of discrete political powers, their own motivations. Like, what the fuck are they doing? Yeah. But also, like, when you start playing through each sort of house, like right now, I'm Golden Deer at first. You start to learn, like, yeah, like, while we are the Alliance and we do kind of have a unifying goal, it doesn't necessarily mean we're all playing by the rules. It's like, people have their own motivations. Some people would much rather see the Alliance disbanded and have one ruling power. Like, that's just kind of how it works. Like, we have to work really hard to keep that shit in check. Because if we don't, we wind up either like Fargus or we wind up like the Empire, and nobody wants that.
Yep.
So you have like these sorts of motivations. You have like these characters, which my favorite character right now is probably Bernie.
Bernie.
So each of like the students that you can recruit and you have in your class, they're all like varying degrees of like an anime stereotype.
Yeah. The one thing that joins all of Fire Emblem together is stereotypes.
And it's always anime stereotypes.
Well, not always the case. I mean, the thieves in the original Fire Emblem were all like dirty perverts,
God.
who like to seduce anything that moved, kind of thing.
All right.
That kind of stuff. And like, the Pegasus, the people who rode Pegasus were wifey, waifish, like,
yeah,
pretty girls who were very susceptible to being hit on, shit like that.
But yeah, so like Bernie, who was with the Black Eagles, now she's part of the Golden Deer because I'm just that good. She is like this shut-in who just really just wants to eat cake. She wants to read books. That's it. That's her whole character. And she refers to herself as Bernie. And her full name is Bernadetta. And the fact that she's like, no, my nickname's Bernie. And I'm like, you got it, Bernie Sanders.
I love Bernie.
I love her. She's great.
She's going to end global warming.
She is. She absolutely is. This, like, you start to sort of unravel this mystery that, like, oh, hey, like, for whatever reason, they decided, like, you, a random mercenary dude, who's been learning under this famous mercenary, Geralt, you should be a professor here at the monastery. And you're like,
I have no teaching qualifications. And they're like, it's fine.
And you're like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. You meet the Lady Pope, her name's Rhea, and she's clearly knows a lot more than she's letting on. And she's just like, no, I have complete faith in you. I know you will know exactly what to do. And I'm like, and from there, you just kind of play through the game. You start getting like little tidbits here and there. I don't know if it's because like I'm part of the Golden Deer that like we're kind of more like the gang in the Mystery Machine, rather than maybe being part of the Empire, where I guess I would be a fascist, and being part of like the Blue Lions, it would probably be angst and more angst.
Yep.
So I think with Golden Deer, I'm kind of more leaning into the story of like learning the mysteries of the monastery, learning what the fuck is what is the magicalness behind all this. Like,
yeah.
But we'll go ahead and start talking about spoilers now.
Yeah.
So if you want to, this sounds interesting to you, and you're like, I haven't played a Fire Emblem game in like forever, and I was getting really mad at the old Fire Emblem games, I think this would be a good game for anybody who's like kind of bounced off of it.
Yeah.
Because it's changed up enough, especially the combat, because now it basically got rid of the weapon triangle. What that really means, I'm not really sure.
Well, so the weapon triangle was basically your rock, paper, scissors of the game.
I meant, like, now that they got rid of it, I don't know what it really means, because I haven't found, like, the system that's in place yet.
I think it doesn't just really matter anymore what weapon's going up against what.
Yeah, but the other thing that they do now is, one, they allow you an undo button, so you're able to undo 3 times during a battle. But the other thing is that when you're moving, you can actually see where an enemy is going to attack. So, you might say, that makes it easy. No, it doesn't. This makes it strategic because you have to figure out like,
yeah, it's still the same. It's still the same strategy. Really, what it is it's more like the little arc of red lines are kind of also showing more of probability of who they're going to attack.
Yeah,
and in the older series, you used to have to like click on that enemy and like engage their map and be like, okay, I don't want to like set like my mage like right within their shooting range.
Yeah.
So I have to like carefully like move and like navigate. This is just a very streamlined way of showing you that what you're actually trying to look for is like what's the probability that this enemy's gonna come and attack me.
Yeah.
So I kind of saw that and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a better logical step than trying to make you go to every single enemy and like be like, okay, where's their map look like? Where can they walk? Where can I walk? Kind of thing. Like, it's pretty much the same mechanism, but it's just a little bit more streamlined.
It's definitely a little bit more streamlined. So, spoilers. Basically, once you start getting through the rest of the school year, you are then given a sword. This sword looks like a bone. It looks like a bone. It looks like a giant bone. It has a hole in it. It's called the Sword of the Creator. And you're like, what does that mean? They're like, it was used by this guy who was trying to kill God. I'm sorry, it was used by what?
I'm sorry, it was what?
Yeah, it was used by this guy who was trying to kill God. It has been usable in, like, centuries. But I'm able to use it. Mm-hmm.
Sure, that's not at all ominous.
That seems suspect. And they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. And the Lady Pope is like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm giving it to you. And everybody's like, you're doing what? And my character, I feel like, is just also like, I'm sorry, you're doing what? And you're trying to figure out, like, what does this mean? Because you're also engaging with, like, a fucking Skull Knight, a fucking Death Knight, as it were, who is also teaming up with another masked dude, the Fire Emperor. I wonder if that has anything to do with the Fire Emblem, because then it also turns out you have, like, a genetic crest that is the Fire Crest, the Fire Emblem, as it were. And
it basically is like, hey, by the way, did you know that you're the protagonist of the game?
It's like, oh, no, I never would have guessed. So, you're told that, like, the Fire Emblem, like, has not been seen in centuries, and you're kind of like, what the hell does that mean? And so on and so on. Basically, a lot of it has been like, what the hell is that meant? And then you go ahead and you investigate this occurrence in, like, the Black Tower, where, like, Sylvain's brother has stolen one of those relics that looks like a bone. And he's like, yeah, I've taken this, and I'm tired of being bossed around, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, okay, buddy. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stab you with this. And, oh, man, there's a black liquid seeping out of this thing. Oh, I'm a monster now.
Weird.
And I'm just sitting there like, is that gonna happen to me? And the Lady Pope's like, no, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's not. This never happened before.
Then you get told by, like, the like, librarian, like, yeah, we erased all records about, like, the hero's relics. I'm sorry, you did what? Yeah, by order of Lord Rhea. Why?
Don't worry about it.
I don't know. But I'm telling you this because I want you to investigate it, you kids in the Mystery Machine. The Golden Deer storyline has been enjoyable. I feel like it's the wonderful starting off point for this game.
Yeah.
Because it's light enough and just kind of like, I haven't really engaged too much with the politics here, which you see, like, it on the margins. Like, you see the way people treat Dedu, who's the ward of Dimitri of the Blue Lions. And Dedu, love him. Wish I could recruit him. But I can't because he's the ward of Dimitri. But basically, because he's from the land of Dusker, he is treated as, like, another. And it sucks. Like, you see him, they're like, that dirty Dusker, like, they're, they're
it's
sneaky
literally
people.
just racism.
It's just racism. And also, Cyril, who's from Almira, he's like, just a slave boy who's working for Lord Rhea. There's no horrible implications there. What are you talking about?
No. Why would you assume that?
He was basically just kind of, like, taken in as a war orphan, so he's never known his homeland. And the thing is that people will ask him, like, don't you miss your homeland? He's like, I never...
What homeland?
He was like, I never grew up there. This is my home. Like, I assume it's worse over there. Like, all I remember there was that it sucked. I've grown up here. Yeah, but what are their traditions? I wouldn't know. I've spent my entire life here.
I wouldn't know. I'm a slave.
Like, it's a little bit of that, and it's kind of like, you know, somebody sees, like, Vasquez, and they're like, oh, you speak Spanish. And it's just like,
I want everyone to know that we frequently get mail sent to us
in Spanish?
Entirely in Spanish. Even me now, because people assume that my last name is Vasquez now.
Yep.
And I'm just like, no.
No.
So we get plenty of letters that are just entirely in Spanish from, like, companies that probably should know that our language that we use on their websites is English, because we have accounts with them.
Yep.
They still send us email, like they send us like mail in Spanish, and we're just like, that's great. Cool.
That's cool.
Neat. Definitely not at all stereotyping. Like, I understand what you're trying to do, but it's abhorrently wrong.
It's abhorrently wrong, and I like that this game is engaging with that. It is engaging with, like, you know, this sort of microaggressions, like these sorts of, like, just blatant racism, the idea of imperialism, the idea of what it does to another people's culture.
Yep.
And it's...
Meanwhile, while you're dealing with Linhart, who is my favorite baby boy, because he just likes to sleep all the time.
He likes to sleep!
You're just like trying to buy him presents and make him come to your side, and meanwhile, we're all like, everyone's being racist, and you're like, boy, I should deal with this racism at some point.
I should. I should go ahead and stop racism by punching it. Like, that's what I should do. I'm getting the feeling, though, just because of the way this game is heading, that, like, I'm kind of just seeing one side of the story, as opposed to, I kind of feel like with a lot of these stories, it centers around you, right? Where it's like, it's not so much that, like, it's not so much like you are seeing a discrete, like, sort of section of the story. Like, it feels more like in most of these kinds of games, like, the moment you choose, like, that house is the house. Mm-hmm. It's no longer, like, the other houses don't exist outside of your own periphery at that point. They don't have their own shit going on. They don't have their own characters with their own lives and what they're doing. This game does a good job of not feeling like that. It feels like, while I am focusing on Golden Deer, like, the other houses have their own shit going on. Like, there is clearly, like, a dynamic forming between, like, you know, the Black Eagles. There is clearly a dynamic forming between, like, the Blue Lions.
Yeah.
That is more than just, like, you know, oh, like, this character is just, like, existing, basically. Mm-hmm. Like, they actually interact with each other, and when it comes to the time skip, because I know that's coming.
Yeah, that's not really a thing that's a spoiler to anyone playing this game, is that there is a time skip involved.
So, I know when the time skip comes, like, what is that really going to look like? Like, what are my decisions, like, siding with this particular house going to look like in the future? Mm-hmm. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what that means.
Yeah.
Because it seems to me like the Golden Deer house has, like, not really any stakes in, like, this sort of, like, bubbling war. They're kind of just, like, left to their own devices. Whereas, like, Fargus and the Empire seem to have, like, a specific want.
Yeah, and, you know, a specific side. And I'm the one who has delved into spoiler territory, and I know what's kind of going on. And it's interesting to point out that for the most part, pre-time skip is the same between all the houses.
Yeah.
You're gonna do the same thing regardless of what team you're on. You're gonna be doing the same, like, plot lines, but after the time skip, you're playing a completely different game. And what you do in as part of the Alliance and the Golden Deer is completely different than what you would be doing if you have sided with the, Blue Lions or Black Eagles. And I find that very interesting because it's not even just, oh, you're on different sides. It's also like there are different storylines that you're following as a result of your alliances. And the politics get very intricate and very fuzzy.
I love it.
Yeah. I think that, my opinion is that, Black Eagles are bad guys, and you probably shouldn't side with them.
Probably shouldn't.
Probably don't.
Can I work within the system to possibly change its mind?
I don't know if you can.
Can I work within a racist system and try to reform it?
I'm not sure about that one. It's very interesting because you will also be given a choice right before the time skip that also kind of gives another little determination. And that also involves the church as well, because that's the thing, is that these three houses are not the only key political forces. The church is its own key political force, and they have something to say as well. And I find that interesting because that also can lead you down a completely different track. So at the end of the day, Fire Emblem Three Houses has 4 separate endings.
That's great. I'm excited. I'm excited to play at least 2 or 3 times, and then to just watch a YouTube video on the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely not a game for you if you were looking for a game that you would only play once and then shove away or sell. This is a game that demands to be played multiple times, and that includes having to replay the pre-time skip multiple times.
God.
So if that's not up your alley, I'd probably look for another game, because this is very much like Nier Automata. You can't just play it once.
You can't.
It demands your 12 hours of your time. Or not 12, 120 hours of your time.
Yeah.
It's not, like I said, it's not a one and done game.
So, overall, I feel like we'll probably check in on this game probably next episode, which will probably come out sometime eventually.
Yeah.
But I think that's where we're at right now.
I think what we'll probably do is definitely do Golden Deer, finish that out, and then maybe you and I sit down while I play through Blue Lions.
Could do that.
Because I think that's the thing is we were kind of going for was we love both of the Blue Lions and Golden Deers for multiple reasons. And I think that both of us could probably stand to sit down and play both of those arcs together and then see where the rest of it takes us.
Exactly. So we'll go ahead and check in probably next episode with where we're at. I'm hoping to be done with Golden Deer by then. If not, we'll see. But anyway, so before we close out this podcast,
yes,
what have you been up to outside of Fire Emblem?
Dealing with Kitty Cat, who is crying in the background.
Yeah. He want to play.
He wants to play. And I mean, I've been working on some Dungeons and Dragons shenanigans. I'm setting up my own campaign right now, which is already lots of fun. I'm very excited. Hopefully I can find a few more players who are interested in committing to an actual campaign, which that's kind of the hardest thing.
Oh, yeah.
Is getting enough people who are committed to it, not just people who are interested, because people who are interested will come for one game, use up come for one session, take up all the time playing shenanigans, and then not want to show up the next session. So trying to find some serious players is a little bit of a challenge.
It's a bit of a challenge, and I I feel like it's dependent on the story. Like, if it clicks with people, then it's like they're more inclined to stay.
Yeah, but the other thing is just being adults with
Oh, yeah.
time.
That, too.
That patheticness. This pathetic boy.
We should throw the Twitter bird.
Alright. Go fetch.
Wee. So, yeah, like, that is always the thing. Like, being adults and playing Dungeons and Dragons or any tabletop RPG is always a fucking, like, circus to navigate. Because you have to jump through so many hoops. But it's okay. It's fine, though. As for me, tabletop RPGs shenanigans, I have been doing the Lancer campaign. Update. Mile, how do you feel about it? It's great. For those of you who don't know,
Joe likes Eldritch Horror and likes to incorporate it into everything.
I like Eldritch Horror. I like the aesthetics of Ava. I didn't like the actual, like, sort of pseudo-Jungian, like, psychology of Ava. I do like the politicalness of something like Gundam. So I was like, what if I just combine horror with politics? That seems a good fit.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, Lancer is the perfect vessel for that.
Yeah.
Because Lancer exists specifically to talk about politics in a cybernetic future.
With mechs!
It does not avoid that. In fact, one of the greatest times you can have is if you want to go onto Lancer's Twitter and just see them fucking spite tweet at people who think that their tabletop RPGs should exist in a vacuum that does not at all correspond with our like the reality and our political climate. It's great.
It's great. The other thing I've been up to is watching Vinland Saga, which update on that. It's a good fucking anime. It's still good. It's finally up to the point now where Thorfinn is older. He now has his 2 daggers. He is now just a killing machine. He's just a little murder boy. And he really wants to murder Akelsad because he killed his dad, who was a very good boy. So, me too, Thorfinn. It seemed like Akelsad probably was in the wrong. Akelsad is also kind of a super compelling character, and there's a lot, I feel like there's a lot going under the surface with him. Doesn't matter, though. He's also an asshole. And then you have Thorkel, who is the best girl in this anime. I will fight tooth and nail to argue that best girl in all anime is Thorkel. He is the best.
He is god tier waifu status.
He is god tier waifu status. He wields a tree as a weapon. It's great. He just throws his axes. They just go through people like butter. And his voice actor, I forget his name. I know I've heard him so many fucking times, but he's so boisterous. He's so loud. He's just happy to be here. And I cannot wait for the next episode where we just get a whole episode of him just yelling. Just give me that. Just give me an anime about Thorkel, okay? That's all I'm asking. It's just give me a solid OVA of Thorkel for 4 episodes. That I would be good. I would be good with that. Give me Thorkel's adventures with a bear.
Hey.
That's what I want. But yeah, I think that's a podcast.
That certainly is.
Alright, so Mile, where can people find you on the internet?
My ecology at everywhere. Maybe someday I'll get back to Twitch. You know me, I'm a garbage human being. He's way too busy for that kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely my ecology on Instagram. It's where I post all of the pictures of Diamond. And also you can find Diamond at _DiamondCat on Instagram too, because I also post his pictures on there too, because I know no boundaries.
Yep. And then as for me, you can find me at Just Joestar. That's just JO on most social media. I want you do this every time, you child. Every time that I sometimes Twitch. I really should get into that too. Maybe once Daemon X Machina comes out, I'll go ahead and actually commit to that. because that's gonna be an experience. Because that comes out in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That comes out in 2 weeks.
Ooh, maybe I'll get onto that Rune Factory on Twitch.
Oh, you could do that. Otherwise, like, I'm most active on Instagram. I post pictures of Diamond as well. I also post pictures of my tiny plastic boys from Gundam kits. So if you want to see that, or if you want to see pictures from our Lancer campaigns, that's where they'll be. I also post my bad opinions on Twitter, so you could go ahead and follow me there if you want to do that. But with that, we'll go ahead and close out this podcast. Next episode is going to be the finale of Death Note. I'm not sure how long that's going to go on for. We're probably not going to do this section for it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but we're going to be talking about the finale of Death Note. Me and Bran are then also going to talk about other Death Note properties like the movies, or my new favorite thing, and here's just a little preview, is the musical, which is my favorite rendition of Death Note to have ever existed, ever. I found it. I found out how I can like Death Note, and it's through an 80s power ballad.
I hate it.
It's great! It's so good. Anyway, that is it. And as always, eat the rich, feed the poor.
I'm glad you did it right this time.
I have to think about it.
Use the rich as fertilizer, guys.
Use the rich as fertilizer.
Bye.
Bye.